Let me tell you a little story that completely changed my life. 10 years ago, I wasn't Paul Hutchinson, I was Paul fucking Hutchinson, right? I ran a multi-billion-dollar company. I had a house with 10 bathrooms, 7 fireplaces, 8 private suites, 3 kitchens, and I had a basketball court in my basement. I actually had 2 stripper poles. 2. Right. 2 stripper poles. Yeah, my basketball court, this side of it, we put this massive stage and 2. That was the kind of lifestyle I lived. It was kind of toxic, right? And then I got a phone call from our Attorney General. And he said, Paul, he said, I know you've donated a lot of money to charity, to making a positive impact in the world. He said, I need to talk to you about something that's kind of dark. It's the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world, and good people don't know that it's happening. He started talking about human trafficking. Now, we don't want to talk about this. We're here all excited about making money, right? Let me tell you, making a difference in the lives of other people is why we should be making money. The average person donates 2% of their annual income to charity. 2%. That makes me sick. You know what makes me really sick? The average millionaire donates less percentage-wise than the average person. I had a mentor in my early 20s. He said, Paul, he said, if you make a decision today that it's not going to be 2%, it's not even going to be 5%, it's going to be more than 10%, upwards of 15 to 20% of everything you create, to making a powerful, positive impact in the lives of others, to charity. He said, I don't care what religion you are, you can call it karma, you can call it the universe, you can call it gifts from God. The windows of heaven will open where there will not be room enough to receive it. I promise you. How does somebody become a partner, let alone a founder of a $48 billion investment fund? You're not a University of Utah dropout, right? That's what I am. The statistical probability of me being where I am is 0. The only way that I can understand it is that I made a commitment when I just started. This is back when I was earning $2,000 a month. I made a commitment that I was going to donate a minimum of 10, if not 15 or 20% to making a difference. And I can tell you hundreds and hundreds of examples of, as I built my business, how all of these amazing things happen. So I'll tell you this, we have the Child Liberation Foundation. We would love to have some of you guys get involved in that. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here to touch your hearts and help you see what real wealth is about. Every one of you could literally be worth 10 million, 100 million, $1 billion if you decided what you wanted to do and create value in the lives of others, and decided what you were going to do to make a difference once you got there. People ask me all the time, Paul, how do you make $10 million? It's really simple. Create $10 million worth of value in the lives of other people. Once you've done that law of exchange will come back and you'll be worth $10 million. You want to be worth $100 million? Create $100 million worth of value in the lives of others. Where's Anton? That's exactly what you're doing. Okay? You are creating massive value in the lives of other people. By making it easier, you found a problem and you said, how can we create something using technology to fix it? I love you for that and I respect you for that.
You're here.
Okay? And so that's all we have to do. That's all we have to do. And grab a picture of the QR code there if you want to help us. I'm going to go into this story. So I get this phone call from this Attorney General. I literally had just finished a party at my house where I had it completely full. I had 450 people in my basketball court in my basement at this massive party. I had all the NFL and NBA players in town. Had a whole bunch of half-dressed women there. That was the energy that I was doing at the time. And he called me and he said, Paul, he said, there's a Homeland Security agent who's in Cartagena, Colombia, who's identified 20 children who are being trafficked, who are being sold. I said, sold? How does somebody, what is that? He said, sold for sex, sold for organ harvesting, horrible things. I didn't even want to listen to this. I want to be back in my party atmosphere. You know, that's the energy I wanted. And he said, no, you need to listen to this, Paul. He said, this is serious. There are people who are suffering. He said, there's more today, and I'm not just talking about children abused at home, which is a massive number. I'm talking sold human beings. There's more today than all 300 years of the transatlantic slave trade put together. He said, Paul, these guys have found 20 children that needs to be rescued. I was donating my time at a lot of different charities, and I was on the Make-A-Wish board of directors. And it's a beautiful organization, but there, $10,000, I could send a little girl to Disneyland with her family, which is important. She's struggling with cancer. With this, I could help bring 20 children back to their families. There just wasn't a comparison, so I helped make that happen. And 2 weeks later, that agent called me. Now, again, who has actually seen the movie Sound of Freedom? Okay, we've got about half the room. So in that movie, I'm the executive producer. I'm the original investment into the film, and we actually took 8 different rescue missions. When Jim Caviezel, he said, I need to convince Pablo. If I can convince Pablo, we can make this happen. I'm Pablo in real life. I got this phone call, and he said, Paul, I'm in Cartagena. There's not just 20 children. There's more than 50 here. And there's more than 100 children that are tied to this trafficking ring in different areas. He said, we believe we can rescue all of these children on the same day, at the same time. But I need your help. Now, if I hadn't worked my butt off, if I hadn't created value in the lives of others, if I didn't have the ability to write a big check, I couldn't have helped those kids. This should be part of your reason. I had a big poster up on my wall when I was a kid, and it had a bunch of Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and it said, he who has the most toys wins. I now have one that says, he who has a powerful, positive impact in the most lives wins. So he called me and he said, I think we can rescue all of these children, but I need your help. And I said, well, how much do you need? He said, I need you. Can you be in Colombia in 2 days? He said, the head trafficker has a piece of property he wants to develop into a child brothel sex resort at Jeffrey Epstein Island. He believes he can make tens of millions of dollars a year selling children to wealthy Americans. I said, well, what do you need me for? He said, well, this guy has connections with all these other traffickers. Somehow we need to get him to call them and get them to bring all their children to the same place at the same time. He said, we believe he'll make those calls if he thinks that the only way that you will fund his resort that he wants to build is if he can prove to you that he can fill it by having a sex party for you and your buddies for 50 to 100 children. This is dark, guys. I'm just telling you what the real world looks like so you can motivate yourself to make a difference. 2 days later, I was face to face with the most evil people on the planet. I'm sitting at this table, and one of the traffickers leans forward. He goes, Pablo, I have a gift for you. I said, really? What's your gift? And he hands me his phone, and there's a picture of an 11-year-old girl on his phone. He said, this is Princess. She's still a virgin. We just took delivery of some. She's my gift for you for this party. Now, if you saw the movie, my character said, I don't want to go. This is too dangerous. And it wasn't until the agent gave my driver a picture of this little girl, and that convinced me to go. In real life, I was already there. I was looking at evil right in the eyes. And seeing that little girl, I made a commitment. Whatever I need to do to help make this happen. How much money do you need? Listen, if that was my little 11-year-old, I would take a bullet for her to get her out of there. I'd give all the money I had to destroy the organization of those people who took her. And just because the parents of these kids didn't know where they were or didn't have the resources I did, didn't mean they love them any less. 2 weeks later, we had this party. These guys showed up with 54 children in Cartagena. We did 3 simultaneous cities. Became the largest child rescue in one day in history with 127 children rescued back to their families. The thing that changed my life was I was sitting there on a chair, and I can show you guys some pictures later. I'm sitting on a chair. I'm as tall as you guys are right there. And these guys bring out this little girl. They actually brought out 4 kids. All virgins. 3 little girls, 1 little boy. This little boy, they gave him cocaine because he was so scared. What kind of monster thinks that that's attractive? I'm so glad it was us there and not some monster. And I'm sitting on that chair, and they bring this little girl out in front of me, the same one they showed me on the picture. And standing up, she's no taller than I was, sitting down. And I was looking at her directly in her eyes, just like this. And all I could see was fear. And you could tell she had been crying. There was makeup streaks. And I took her little hands. I said, "Como te llamo? What's your name?" She didn't answer. I'm sure that's because her real name wasn't Princess. She was so scared trying to figure out what the traffickers wanted her to say. And I just said, "Está bien." And those 2 words, I wish I could tell her. I wish I could say, she was looking at me like I was the guy who was going to defile her. I wish I could say, no, you're going to be fine. I couldn't say that. I told the traffickers, take him back in. That moment, when I looked at her in her eyes, I made a commitment to myself, to God, to that child, that I would dedicate my life to eradicating that evil from the face of the earth. And what's crazy is that my fund at the time was $2 billion under management. Now, it seems a big number, but since that time, when I decided to dedicate full-time effort into creating a massive global impact, that number went times 10, doubled again. It's made a massive, massive impact. A massive impact. So, today, my goal is to, I can tell you hundreds of these stories. I can touch your hearts. I can make you cry, but every single one of them, there's a beautiful light at the end of the tunnel. What I want each of you to do is look inside your hearts and ask yourself what you're passionate about and why. Do you have an aunt that died of breast cancer? Have you gone to Africa and seen the poverty that's there? Have you gone to South America and have you seen how many people were trying to make things work with the real estate? Whatever it is, find value that you can create in the world. Find out how you can make a powerful, positive impact in the lives of others. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. My sweet wife, raise your hand, sweetie. She's the one with the big rock, not on her finger. But we met in Haiti. I tell people meeting a beautiful Colombian actress is kind of cool, but when she's donating her time at an orphanage in Haiti, that's my kind of girl. And soon after we met, I got nominated to receive the Ellis Island Medal of Honor for the charity work, and we had to go to this gala. We had to go to a gala dress up. They actually closed down the island for us and did this beautiful presentation, and she didn't have a gala dress. And so we went to the store to find her one, and we found one. It was about $2,000. And as we were getting ready to check out, she looks at the tag, and she said, "Paul," she said, "what's the average cost of rescuing a trafficked child?" I said, "It's about $2,000. She said, "I'm not wearing a child." She said, "We can donate the money to the foundation. Buy me a $200 dress instead." She rocked that dress. We got invited to, literally right after that, we had to go to Rome because Prince Lorenzo di Medici family, they were knighting me for this thing, whatever. And we stayed, he invited us to all this other crap. We went to the Cannes Festival. We got invited to the Prince's Palace in Monaco. We spoke on the back of a super yacht with all these billionaires. She wore that dress so many times. "Sweetie, we need to buy you a new dress." She's like 9 galas before she finally let me buy her something new. But I honor her for who she is and what she stands for. And I'll tell you a little side story. She hates this one. I'm going to tell it. Okay, so you guys know who Henry Cavill is? He's the actor who plays Superman. Everybody knows Henry Cavill, right? Big pecs and big chin, this Superman, Batman. Yeah, he's Superman. Well, Henry was at Vanessa's work almost every day for 4 months. They started a date. Now, not public. They went on 4 dates? And then she met me. I stole Superman's girlfriend. So, anyway, she's now the executive director of the Child Liberation Foundation. And where's Paul? Right here. Paul left Morgan Stanley to come on with us, and I'm super grateful for Paul and all that he does. He's the person to talk to if you want to get involved with us. We're building safe houses for the kids. Since the movie came out, I can't do undercover anymore. I have led or played a key part in over 70 undercover rescue missions over a period of 10 years. We took about 8 of those missions and put them all together into one storyline. We put actually most of the stuff that was done by a lot of other operators who are still working right now undercover, really good men and women. We put a lot of attention onto the character of Jim Caviezel, and that's okay. The goal is we couldn't take millions of people to see what we had seen undercover. That would be too dangerous, but we could help millions of people feel what we had felt. So find what you're passionate about, whatever it is, and don't think small. Literally, you can be, do, have whatever you want. If you want to create a global impact, all you have to do is decide that's what you're going to do. We've now had over 70 million people see our film, and hundreds of millions of others are now more aware of what they need to do to keep their children safe. I truly believe that millions and millions of children are in a safer place today because of us deciding that we wanted to make that impact. So find what you're passionate about. If you want to join us, please talk to Paul, please talk to Vanessa, but whatever it is, save the whales, save the trees, decide you're going to make a powerful, positive impact in the world. Thank you for letting me share today.